of course, we go right to our guest joining me this morning in studio. No stranger to us here. I always say she's a powerful lady. She deals with the money, all right? And no, of course, she is Councillor Petal-Ann Roberts, Secretary for Finance, Trade and the Economy. I think I have it right. And we are going to talk about finance month. As I said, powerful lady, she's handling the dollars this morning, and she's here to tell us how we too can handle our dollars. Good morning, Councillor.
Good morning, and thank you for having me. Good morning, Tobago.
And let's get right into it. We're talking not about a week, not about a day, but a month. Why does the division see the need to highlight finance just for all of us here in Tobago, and why a finance month?
So, Finance Month is dedicated in the month of November. The Division of Finance found it fit to have a month of activities. A week, I don't think, is sufficient based on our theme for this year: Finance for All, Empowering Growth Together Through Knowledge. And this theme really concentrates on empowering, sensitizing, educating the entire Tobago, from this primary school right up to the seasoned businessman, will have an opportunity to know about the financial services offered by the Division of Finance. Also, anything relating to finance. For instance, we'll be having a conference, and that conference will surround themes such as digitization and automation, things that are happening in the economy for SMEs in terms of their potential for growth and adapting to change. We'll also be talking about cybersecurity. We'll also be having a networking event for our corporate stakeholders. So really and truly, if we were to have a week, the week will be packed from the entire 8 hours, not 8 hours, 24 hours for the day.
Right, definitely.
So in order to effectively roll out the finance activities, we decided to do it for an entire month.
And I appreciate the fact that you are starting from primary school, but maybe your team can also look at involving our preschoolers. Our little ones are quite bright and alert, and it would be, I think, good to also capture them and engage them in some way. Let's look at the theme again. Why that theme? And I realize, you can break it down in sections. What is the goal? What you want to accomplish when you really look at this theme?
Sensitization, education, and empowerment. As I said, we will be targeting all stakeholders, all sectors. You just gave an idea of even the preschools. Well, we didn't go into the preschools, but it's something to really think of. Absolutely. We'll look at that perhaps for next year, or we'll try to incorporate it, as you just indicated, into this year's activities to touch the little ones, because as you said, they are quite bright, they're resilient, and they catch on very, very quickly. So we'll be starting with a Thanksgiving service at the Division of Finance, and this is really for the staff and our stakeholders within the THA. We have the staff, and then we'll have our specially invited guests, where we will be giving thanks to God for His grace, His mercies, and His love towards us as we navigate the challenges of this world, and even in the Tobago space. Also, really to give thanks for what God has done for us, throughout. Since the Tobago House of Assembly has been since inception, and even now in 2024, and we hope that God will give us the grace and the strength to go on for the years beyond this year.
And although you may have alluded to it earlier, I want us to also look at how having a finance month or activities like these help accomplish the division's goals.
So, well, you see, the thing about finance is not only deploying resources and releases and reporting on expenditure. I think as a society, we need to understand the importance of savings, budgeting, the power of giving, basic training and savings. Also, one of the things I'd like to also sensitize Tobago about is the fact that I would like to meet with the stakeholders, the banks, all our financial institutions, even our contractors, because this year I'll be bringing a revised budget based on the $2.559 million we have received from central government. And it's an opportunity to sit with them and say, listen, this is the reality and these are the projects we'll be doing. These are the things that we'll be doing. These are the strategies we'll be taking to manage the resources that we have received for fiscal 2025.
Right. And I appreciate the fact again, in terms of reaching out to all of us. You mentioned, giving. That's something we don't usually hear when you hear about, conferences or programs that talk about handling your money. And I think that is so important that we understand the importance of giving and what it means even for us as individuals. Let's look at some of the programs in details that are being rolled out this month. So if you can share with us maybe dates, your target audience, how can we be a part of the programs that when we hear about it?
Right. So as I said, so we kick off with our Thanksgiving, but really this is for the finance staff, and then we'll have our specially invited guests. Then we'll have a seminar at the primary schools. We cannot cover all primary schools, unfortunately, but what I would like to also say that we'll be deploying these things throughout the year.
Right.
But we want to dedicate some seminars for only in the West and in the East. So we'll be doing about 4 schools.
Okay.
And this will be on the 5th and the 7th of November. And the theme is Money Moves, Building Smart Habits for a Bright Future. So as I said, this is where we'll be telling the students about the importance of money. What really is money? The value of money, the power in giving, importance of budgeting, savings, telling them about the economy of Tobago, how they can add to the economy, starting a business and all these things. So this is what we'll be doing for November, starting off in the first week, November 5th and 7th. We're going to the east and the west of Tobago.
And is your team visiting the schools directly, or are they going to a central place?
We are going to visit the schools directly.
Okay.
Now, that is only because we had some shifts in dates. Because we wanted everything to fit seamlessly into the month. So we did have a central place at one point in time, but that central place was not available when we shifted our date. So we're going directly to some of the schools, as I indicated.
And what's next after you hit the primary school circuit?
After the primary schools, well, throughout the month, we'll be having about 3 team building and social events for the staff at Finance.
Okay.
To build that camaraderie, self-actualization, team building for the staff at the event. We really want to show a cohesiveness and build and encourage cohesiveness in the division. So we'll be having several little games, sporting events, social events among the staff at the Division of Finance. We'll be having from the 5th of November to the 22nd a BDU caravan. Now, BDU is the Business Development Unit, and their role and function is really to push and bolster entrepreneurship.
Right.
We are fostering entrepreneurship through going into 8 communities over 8 days, and this is where we will be providing the grant forms, because some persons may not be able to come in to the division. We'll be doing a big PR and sensitization sessions in the communities we are targeting agriculturists, fishermen, and the tourism sector.
Right.
Now, we basically give to several sectors, but our concentration will be to help and to give support to fishing, the fishing sector, as I said, agriculture and tourism throughout 8 communities in Tobago.
And do you have a listing of those 8 communities by chance?
So BDU will come back and elaborate. Because of time, I don't have sufficient time to tell of everything, but I just want the Tobago public to know it's from the 5th to the 22nd, and then you will be hearing the ads throughout Tobago of where BDU will be going to next.
Right. So I want our viewers, just before you continue, to pay attention, because it may not be in your direct community, but Tobago is small. So you can go to that community and be a part of this.
Definitely. So as I said, BDU will be going out door to door and then they will be centralized in several spots, as you just said. So if you're in Mason Hall, the people from Runnymede, Mariah can come to that central.
What do you mean by door-to-door? Tell us a little more about that.
So they'll be targeting small businesses. So, you know, in every community, there are businesses. So they will be going door to door and telling and sensitizing these stakeholders about what BDU has to offer.
Excellent.
Along with BDU, not in every community, we will have centralized with BDU PR and sensitization about Venture Capital Equity Fund Limited. Now, venture capital, everybody may not be able to capitalize on venture capital because they don't normally just target the SMEs, which are the micro, small and medium enterprises. They kind of target larger audiences. And the kind of funding that they provide is really equity funding, and not everyone will be able to access equity funding. So they will also be out along with BDU in some of the communities across Tobago.
So it's very important, you know, we have all these resources sometimes that are there, but for me to access it, I have to go after it. And you find a lot of persons are not so inclined, and really divisions, you know, organizations, groups, you find yourself now having to push that information and really going out in the communities. I think it's a good start. Of course, it's not that these entities have not been working, but sometimes people miss information. So you know, those of you who are listening, you may know your neighbor has a small business and may have missed this program. Ensure that you tell them something great is coming and they can be a part of it. And of course, you want your business to grow. You want to know what you have access to, and just learn, or, you know, sharpen those skills that you have so you can continue to contribute to Tobago's economy and have a better life for yourself as well. I'm going back to the schools because I love children, young people, and I always, you know, think that if we focus more on changing them, we'll have really a better tomorrow. If we equip them with the skills, like I always tell them, you know, I might be hard to bend, but if you deal with my children, you stand a better chance of effecting change.
Yes.
And you said that it's not a one-time program, of course, because this is a special month, but the division is, of course, quite active year-long. How else do you think we can get our children and maybe the parents of these children to really engage them? Because some of us still parent in this way where, you know, children are very inquisitive. They might want to hold the money in the grocery and we tell them, leave that alone. You're too small for that, you know, and we don't really empower them. I have 2 little ones, primary schoolers, and I tell them they have more money sense than anything in the world. So I would usually, you know, you teach them, I would say, I'm giving you $10, and I may just choose a small item that they can go and pay for independently while I make my groceries. And I said, okay, if it's this amount and you have $10, are you going to get back change? Yes. How much? You know, and you kind of engage them. What kind of programs do you see maybe in the future or even currently that they may be existing, you know, to encourage parents? Yes. And also get our children really, you know, financially literate.
So that's a very interesting question. When we had the discussions on Finance Month, heads who are integral in Finance Month had to bring proposals, and I wish I could have executed every single one of them. For schools, we intend to have quizzes.
Right.
There's a money app game, and even if we don't have use of the game, there are similar activities to assist them in the game of life, where we budget, save, spend, give, competitions and contests. I also like the idea of some kind of essay competition on budgeting. As I said, I wanted competitions in the schools, a quiz in the schools. So we have an excellent department called Financial Literacy, which has brought several proposals to me. And because Finance Month, just a month is only 20 working days, and we have other things to do.
Of course.
We are going to spread some of these activities across the entire year going forward. So from December is a kind of month where school will be closed, and school is closing pretty early. So from January, we will be executing more activities for school to encourage that financial literacy program.
Excellent. And of course, you end the month with that conference. Tell us about the conference.
Oh, yes.
Who is your target audience?
The conference is the most exciting thing for me. I think that conference is an excellent way to both have speakers come excellent, dynamic, engaging speakers come and impart knowledge in a way that we don't normally have on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
So we will be having a conference on November 19th, but just before the 19th, we'll be having that networking event on the 18th. And to kick off from the networking event, which would be a cocktail where I meet all the stakeholders in a networking event, then we have the conference, and the target audience is really anybody. But it is not free, unfortunately. The themes of the conference are automation and digitization. We have economic outlook, where we look at change in adapting to change in businesses, and cybersecurity, right? And we have, as I said, some dynamic, engaging expert speakers. We have Kino Cox of TSCT, who will be speaking on automation and digitization. And Kino has been bringing a lot of proposals to the THA to digitize its operations. But he will be speaking in the business sector in terms of automation and digitization. We have cybersecurity, all the potential risks of attacks in the cyberspace, and what are some of the mitigating strategies for those cybersecurity attacks and risks. And then we have, that is Ian John of Cyber Eye. And then we have an excellent woman who is a lecturer at UE. It's Marlene Arts, and she will be dealing with the economic outlook and adapting to change for SMEs and in the business sector.
Yeah, I heard her present recently when the chamber in Trinidad presented their budget talks, and I know, she knows her stuff. So those of you who can access this conference, and yes, there's a fee, but for this type of information and networking, I mean, it's just the registration fee. I think it's just about $300, and that's nothing compared to the experience and exposure you are going to have. And
it's unfortunate, though, that it's only one day. Actually, when I conceptualized this conference, I really wanted a 2-day conference to have like panel discussions and more topics. For instance, I wanted to do more procurement. We have the procurement legislation, so that the business community can understand what this legislation really says and what it really means for the business community and the THA. I wanted to do procurement. I wanted to do public sector accounting. So many things, even IFMIS, talking about an IFMIS, which is an integrated financial information system. But really and truly, the time did not permit. So this is the first of its kind. It would be held at the Victor E. Bruce Financial Complex. It's just one day, and we'll have these dynamic speakers. You will be seeing adverts going out on how you can register for this event, and we really want to encourage persons to come out and support this event. Right,
excellent. So a lot of information. So those of you who are interested, in fact, I shouldn't say those of you who are interested, we all need to keep abreast of the information coming to us for November, Finance Month. Be engaged. So check the division's website. Of course, that's an excellent place to start. You will hear things over the airwaves, and let's really get involved. It's about us empowering ourselves, understanding what's happening in our economy, and being a part of this process. Thank you, Councillor, for bringing the information with us. We wish you and your team all the best, not just for this venture, but for those to come.
Thank you very much.
And of course, viewers, we go for a quick break, but we have more interesting guests when we come back, so stay tuned.